What's up, everybody? I hope everybody had a good day. We're gonna bring to you um, the next part of this research on this gentleman here on screen, Philo of Alexandria. Um, Again, we're going with the core premise being this explanation in the parallel timelines. Um, I'm assuming by now, you probably should have watched it by now. If not, check it out. Please do. Parallel, parallel timelines in history. Very important work. Um, you know, so let's get right to it. Um, First and foremost, let me get all my salutations out the way. Much love to the family out there, to Brother King Drop, to Lex Will, to Hiram Mark, to teach me to be priestly. Man, oh my goodness gracious, brothers and sisters, if y'all ain't checked this brother out, um, yeah, fire, 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 fire. You know, um, all the usual suspects as that's gonna be my new name for him. So, moving forward, if I say, shout out to all the usual suspects, y'all should know by now, man. Come on. If I ain't mentioned your name, it ain't nothing personal. I just always mention those that influence me the most. Not that there isn't a lot of information out there because I watch a lot of y'all videos. I just, but just because I watch them don't mean I'm always gonna like everything. And I said that a long time ago in one of my earlier videos. Just because I watch it don't mean I'm gonna even if I like it, don't mean I'm gonna always give it a thumbs up. Doesn't mean I'm always gonna share it. You know, that doesn't mean I don't get listen to the information being shared. Now, hopefully this time around it's a little bit less shaking. So, I'm using my headphones this time, so I hope the volume is all right on this. I probably should stop and do a test run, but it's getting late, and I don't want to be up here all night with this next piece, this next drop in the research. Um, Last night or the last video, yeah, it was last night. So the video yesterday, I horribly dismounted. So if this was a video of me hopping off the horse, I fell flat on my face. I didn't, secrets behind the scenes. There's about another 5 more minutes on that I didn't get. So I'm gonna try to pick up where I left off and try to put everything together. Um, you know, this is for me a culmination of a lot of work, a lot of teaching, a lot of understanding. But again, once the parallel timelines comes into play, everything comes into play, and we have to go back and review a lot of stuff. Now, no one can argue the work that Brother Lex Will did on Josephus. Nobody can argue the work that Brother King is dropping with this Prester John. Teaching to be priestly with the cedar. I mean, this guy's going after it. You know, um, so we all got our thing. You know that we can appreciate, and hopefully you guys are out there doing your own work, showing a different direction. This is just to where how Prester John got me to here. And don't he look black? Now this is supposed to be a Roman dude, right? Yeah, I know you might. He look like, man. Trust me, you got the caca going on too. But when you see these other pictures, man, yeah, this is a brother. Make no mistake. Just because it's in black and white, that's a brother. All right. Um, in any case, let me try to pick up where we left off. Now, when we left off here, I want to make sure I got the right place here. We had left off right here. Okay, Philip and the Ethiopian eunuch. Now, we all come to discover that Philip is a variation of the name Philo. As a matter of fact, if I'm not mistaken, I think it's Romanized, short Romanized, if I remember correctly. As a matter of fact, here we go. Philip, masculine, proper name from the Latin Philippus and from the Greek Philippos, meaning fond of horses. All right. Um, so that's where that root name comes from. Comes from Philo, etymology wise. So we left off here speaking of the Ethiopian eunuch. Now, this is important for a lot of different reasons. Number one, on the whole Ethiopian eunuch. Now, again, connecting to the Prester John thing. Now, what I brought up last time as I was trying to dismount here, and what we're going to do is start it off is pulling this up. So, a eunuch pretty much means a castrated man for the most part, except for the fact that eunuch originally, okay, meant guard of the bedchamber or harem. Now, we all know and understand Solomon to have, his 700 wives and 300 concubines for harem. So that's something of great importance when we're talking about, the search for Prester John. Okay. And here's the part that I want you to kind of pay attention to underneath here, which states harem attendants in where? Oriental courts and under the Roman emperors were charged with what? Important affairs of the state. So understand that when we do the histories and you read or come across this word or term of a eunuch, it doesn't always mean that somebody got their member chopped off. Okay, especially when we're talking about in the original meaning, and as well as when we come down here and see that harem attendants in the Oriental court and under the Roman Empire was charged with important affairs of the state. The Greek and Latin forms of the word were used in the sense castrated man in the Bible, but also translates Hebrew saris, okay, which sometimes merely meant palace official in the Septuagint and Vulgate, probably without an intended comment on the qualities of the bureaucrats. Just what I said, meaning just because you have the title of a eunuch doesn't mean that you have your member chopped off. It simply means palace official, and that's important when we're talking about this guy here. Prester John. I mean the Ethiopian eunuch, right? So when you read here, it's very important. Now, these are the commentaries. You can find this on the Bible Hub. Bible Gateway. When you're looking in here, and it's pretty much covering Acts chapter 8 for the most part. But we got to this point here because we wanted to, in the search of this guy named Philo, in which we come again to this guy here, this eunuch, excuse me. Now, it's important to note that as you're reading through this, there's a couple of different things we're going to touch on, and I want you guys to kind of pay attention to. That's going to kind of pop up a few times, okay? Maybe once or twice, but just not a lot, but enough to notice something. Now, according to this here, we understand the Christian HiJack, so I don't want don't think that I'm trying to lead anyone astray. But like I said before, with the timelines of being empirically expressed as there being parallel timelines, we need to take everything into account. So we're looking at the Jew HiJack, right? The Hebrew HiJack, and that's how we got to this point. Now, according to the commentaries, it states, we are fascinated by the missionary tales of chance encounters. In other words, the commentators pretty much are, they're fascinated that, of all the people that you can run into, this encounter happens. So it's a very much a wow moment. How So let me continue. Along a lonely road in the African bush, a man suddenly appears and asks a missionary traveler, "Can you tell me who Jesus is?" Luke's account of Philip divinely guided encounter with the Ethiopian would have been just as fascinating to first-century Romans or Greeks, for in their view, Ethiopians live literally at the southern edge of the earth, and it is according to Homer Odyssey. And everything in here, as far as in parentheses, that's the source material to the commentary. So, understanding this is the premise here. How odd is that, right? It's basically what they're saying. But we also know that you know to run into Pressure John is a chance encounter, right? Right. Okay. So it states here that God is actively fulfilling His purposes for the scope of the church's mission, as expressed. Okay, if it reaches an Ethiopian so soon after its beginnings, Theophilus can know for sure that the gospel that is to be preached among all nations is true. It is for him and for us too. Now, this is where we're going to come back to this. So I want to bring up a point here. Isn't this strange right here? Theophilus, right? You don't see this name come up quite often, especially when a few times. That's why I wanted to bring it up, because I want you to pay attention to this title. Okay. All right. Where was I? Let's see here. Now, this scene is a fitting climax to the Grecan Jewish Christians' mission thrust. For here, they complete the geographical aspects of Acts 1, which Acts 1 commission, which is Jerusalem, Judea, Samaria, and the ends of the earth. So this encounter within the Ethiopian would fulfill the ends of the earth part, right? So as we go through this, where was it? Now, through his angel, God takes the initiative and directs Philip to take the road from Jerusalem to Gaza, right? Now, when we were studying this guy, Mr. Good old Philo, what does it state? He's at least gone, he at least went to Jerusalem, went to the temple at least once, okay? When we go through and read this guy's history, as far as what they were able to put together. But as we already know, this guy here, is related to Princess Bernice, who, with Josephus put together the whole Christian HiJack in the first place. But it does state that this guy, where is it at here? I just want to make sure I'm pointing out stuff so that I don't think I'm just, making stuff up as I go. I just want to kind of get through this information and kind of get it out there. I'm just trying to do my due diligence also at the same time. To make sure that we all good on the same page. In any case, my eyes are starting to come together, getting blurry. I didn't read so much information tonight, and I just kind of want to put this information together for y'all. But I don't know if y'all see it, point it out. I'm pretty sure some of y'all like, stop right there, you passing it, you going too fast, slow down and take your time. All right, I feel that spirit in the air, so I'm gonna try to do that. So, in any case, this guy definitely makes his journey from Jerusalem to Gaza. Okay. Where was we? I want to kind of jump down here. Where was it? Okay, so Philip encounters an Ethiopian eunuch and his retinue. Basically his troop, people that he's traveling with, right? His group, his followers, But we also learned that, a eunuch, is in charge of the bedchamber, he's a palace official, so he's not going to be traveling by himself. He's going to have people with him. He's exotic at once, powerful and pious. You're going to hear this word come up a lot too when dealing with this Philip, dealing with this Philo. Um, just roll with me. All right. Greeks and Romans were particularly fascinated with the dark-skinned Africans. We covered that. They're even if the timeline be true, by the time you get to the 1100, 1200, the whole point of the story of Prester John is, from the Ethiopian, the Abyssinian, him coming from the far reaches of the far ends of the earth. So that's always a big deal. It kind of makes you wonder, among other things, if and again, I'm just talking at the side of my neck, but kind of makes you wonder how much Ethiopia or Abyssinia, kind of like Prester John, seems to be moving. It has a centralized location for the most part, but when we go through the backstory under its original name, Ethiopia ain't always where you think it is. So just be mindful when you see Ethiopian. Now, obviously, it means Abyssinia. It obviously means mixture. So anyone that is of color or mixed, at least, would be considered an Ethiopian. Okay, in the generic sense, that is. Let's see here. Although Ethiopian is generally used for anyone with these physical characteristics, here it is referred to an inhabitant of the ancient kingdom of Meroe. Remember, we were talking about Meroe over there in the study of Prester John, okay? Which covered what is now northern Sudan and Sudan south of Aswan to Khartoum. CNIB. Yeah. This man is powerful, the chief treasurer of the kingdom, wealthy from its iron smelting, gold mining, and trading posts. These are all the different things that we've heard before under the story of Prester John. So for me, either this Prester John, I understand he's a last noble image, but it's something about this dude where it's just you start to come across that they're not talking about in the history books. There's never a group of Ethiopians. There's always one that's distinct. There's always one that's exotic, powerful, pious. You know, just like just like the Prester John thing. What's the word that they use? He's an historian Christian, right? So, they put that HiJack on there, but maybe that ain't too much of a HiJack that y'all may think that is. I'm gonna come to that hopefully in this video as well if I got time, if I remember. So, let's see here. Boom. Now remember, this is usually generally for anyone with these characteristics, but they always conveniently leave out a name. Let's see here. You always gotta find the babies in the bathwater. Let's see here. It was a conduit for goods from the rest of the continent. Candace, queen of the Ethiopians. Now, remember when we're in the lesson of Prester John, they were talking about Queen Candace, Queen Candace. Well, in the commentaries here, Candace is not a name. So if you go out looking for Queen Candace and then it gets blurred in the timelines, then you think Candace is this one of a couple of different people. But according to this here, Candace just means Queen of better Queen Mother, ruling monarch of the Ethiopians, since Candace is a title, not a proper name. care for the duties of the state. So this eunuch is taking care of her stately duties. So when y'all go back and and re-listen or do deeper study of the Queen Candace, understand that from a lot of perspective here that it's not one person. It's a title. Okay. The king was regarded as a god, child of the sun, too sacred to engage in administration. All right. The Candace in this instance was Amen, Amenitary, AD 25 to 41, approximately, according to Weed and Crocker. All right. Luke does not identify the eunuch as either a proselyte, a Gentile convert to Judaism, or a God-fearer, a Gentile adherent to Jewish monotheism, ethnic impiety. Now, again, when we're talking about this Prester John, right? This is, again, the same story we keep hearing. Now, it's always been in front of us. It's always been in our face. But we just never paid no attention because we never been able to connect the dots. One of the things that fascinates me about this whole Prester John is that, I've heard of him. I knew of him as far as certain particulars. But just like when they remake these movies and repackage it a different way but it's the same movie over and over again. You think you're watching something. You think you're watching something new, and you're not. Prime example of this, just thinking about movies and stuff. And I don't mean to ruin it, so spoiler alert. If you don't like it, you can fast forward to 23 minutes. All right, but spoiler alert. The movie Fast and Furious is just a remake of Point Break, almost like scene for scene. Um, I've seen Point Break 100 times, seen Fast and Furious probably more. And I didn't put the two and two together until it was told to me, and then I had to go back and watch both movies, and then I was, floored by how much those two movies are exactly alike, just modernized or repackaged a different way, which goes to show how easy it is to fool us with the new and flashy, with the 440, as it were, with the thought frequency. Okay. Let's see here. Let's see. Now, Luke only presents this Ethiopian, right? He only presents him as a pious. He presents him only as pious according to the Jewish faith. Okay. Now, apparently he must have been a Jew, right? Right. All right. So the eunuch is returning to Meroe after the pilgrimage to Jerusalem for one of the feasts, and he is sitting in his chariot reading scripture. Let's see here. So this is unless I'm missing something, I think this is the first time or first point in which we have a confirmation, whether you believe the New Testament be a HiJack or not, that this Prester John, this Ethiopian eunuch, as it were, is actually reading from the Old Testament, from the scriptures. Okay, and since he's reading from the scriptures, this is why he presents him only as pious according to the Jewish faith. Okay. Now this dude is pretty much on his way back from Meroe, on his way to Meroe, leading the pilgrimage from Jerusalem from the feast, sitting on his chariot reading the scriptures. Yeah, this is what the chariot they believe it was. How many people that would accommodate his driver? Let's see here, scriptures. Chariot is probably a four-wheel covered vehicle, like an ox cart, large enough to accommodate the eunuch, his driver, Philip, and possibly other servant, who would be reading the manuscript aloud if the official is not doing so himself. Obviously, the carriage is moving slowly enough to allow the reading allow for the reading and for Philip to approach it on foot. Okay, so they're just kind of cruising along. They're not in a rush or anything. But as you go through and start going through down here, I just want to jump down. That really blew me off, blew me away. Right here. The eunuch wants to know whether the prophet is talking about himself or someone else when speaking about these related scriptures that's being quoted out of the Septuagint into Acts. Okay, as he reads through, and when you study this, if I remember correctly, they state that the quotes are very rough, to say the least. Rough for someone of Luke's caliber, I believe it were, to translate or be using this the Old Testament, the quotes from Isaiah. Now, when I first went through and I read this, the eunuch wants to know whether the prophet Isaiah is talking about himself or someone else. Now, when you go through this and read this, first time I read it, okay, I thought that line meant that the, the eunuch was asking if the prophet Isaiah was talking about himself or someone else, meaning Isaiah. But when I went through this and in the vein of Press for John, I reread this and then I was wondering, is the eunuch, does he wants to know whether the prophet is talking about himself, meaning the eunuch, or someone else? Especially when we got this HiJack going on. Now, for the Jew in the first century, someone else was either the humiliated but vindicated righteous sufferer of the apocalyptic and wisdom tradition. And it goes through Isaiah 51, 53:11, Enoch, first Enoch 46. So please, by all means, look these verses up, do some research on that. Let's kind of nail this down, because these are verses that are coming from the Ethiopian, the Ethiopian eunuch. And I think this would help with locking down this Prester John situation. But this just is kind of trippy because this whole thing here is, if you notice, it's all about Acts and Luke. And when we do the background on that, the original author appears to be the same person. So what I got going on here is what? Okay, so here's what caught my attention moving forward. Now we already know that these Josephus and them, the whole Roman culture, especially with the aristocracy, they use a lot of different names, various names. The family name is different from the lineage. That's different from another house that you come from. It gets really confusing really quick. This is why you kind of got to do your homework. But the reason why I thought about this is because his name is Philo, and again, I thought that was kind of strange, a strange name, almost like a stage name, especially to when you realize that, well, if he's Greek, why don't you just give him the Greek version of Philo? It seems incomplete. It seems hijacked in a lot of ways. So, in my interest of trying to figure out who this is, I started to look up Theophilus, right, just to see if I can make a connection to Philo by namesake, right? And we're going to find out that Theophilus is the name of an honorary title of the person to whom the Gospel of Luke and Acts of the Apostles are addressed. So this Theophilus is the person who is supposed to be the receiver of this of these works, um, which is kind of interesting because again we see multiple times on the Paul Josephus side of things where we have to question whether or not not even question, but we know from research that Paul is talking about himself in a lot of these cases, almost like speaking to himself in third person. Um, One of the things if you do the research on Luke, um, is the stylization of the book, but we're going to get into that now. Again, Luke and Acts was a unified work. Okay, both Luke and Acts were written in Koine Greek. We covered that before, right? And the name, now this is the name of Theophilus, right, in the Greek. As it appeared therein means friend of God, right? Or beloved by God or loving God in the Greek language. No one knows the identity of Theophilus, and there are several conjectures and traditions around the identity. In English, Theophilus is also written Theophilus, both common name and honorary title among learned academic Romans and Jews of the era. Their life. So this name is common, right? Okay. All right. This life would coincide with their life would coincide with the writing of Luke and the author of Acts. So we got the different views, theories about who this Theophilus is. Now, the Coptic view states the Coptic tradition asserts that Theophilus was a person and not an honorary title. Okay, the Coptic Church claims that the person was a Jew of Alexandria. Similarly, John Wesley, in his notes on the New Testament, records that Theophilus was a person of eminent quality at Alexandria, which he understood to be the tradition of the ancients. Who does that sound like? Who does that sound like? This guy is the apex of both Alexandrian and Alexandrian and Hellenistic philosophy. This guy, right? Okay. Again, Mr. Wesley here might not be wrong, but this is the Coptic view, right? Now, according to you got the Roman official. Now, others say that Theophilus was probably a Roman official of some sort because Luke referred to him as this word here, which is optime in the Latin Vulgate translation, meaning most excellent, as expressed in Luke 1:3. Although although in the parallel introduction of to the Acts, he is simply referred to as O Theophilus. Now, again, we're writing a letter in the Acts, and we're reading about this Philip and this Ethiopian eunuch, right? In the Acts, this is where it shows up. Now, quick question, and it's an open book test. Who's a Roman official? Just put it out there. Just putting it out there, right? Okay. Honorary title. Academia. Tradition maintains that Theophilus was not a person. The word Greek means friend of God, and thus both Luke and Acts were addressed to anyone who fits the description. In this tradition, the author's targeted audience, as with other canonical gospels, were learned or academic, but unnamed men and women of the era. Likewise, non-canonical Gospel of Thomas, Gospel of Peter, Gospel of James were not addressed to anyone in particular, any particular gender or any specific persons. Now, I would argue, not even argue, I would just clearly point out, for example, we know uh, Dr. Dre is a musician, a producer, right? Rapper. Now, we still call him Doctor. Now, his name, his rap name, is an honorary title, okay, as it were. But when, if he was around and I was to say, hey, Dr. Dre, he will respond, okay? Another example would be, um, another example would be, I don't know, I'm just having a brain fart right now. Another example would probably be Prince. Prince is an honorary title or an academia. But if Prince walk by, we say Prince. We know who the hell Prince is, don't we? Right? We only one Prince. We say Prince. Now, we got a whole bunch of princes. It's honorary title. There's only one Prince. We say Prince. Right? All right. Now, some believe that Theophilus could have been Paul's lawyer during his trial period in Rome. I agree with that. Probably was. We already. Why do we know that? Because this guy, um, according to the comments of Josephus, explains how well versed he is. In explaining his arguments, explaining his point of view, the Hellenistic, being a Hellenistic Jew, and even to argue both sides. The guy goes to before the Emperor Caligula, when summoned to explain the uprising and the embassy to Gaius, which here we get this commentary, and it's all based upon this Roman governor Flaccus, okay, and him visiting Flaccus. Um, and I do apologize. I'm not trying to move or scroll up and down too fast, but a lot of these screens that we've already gone over, you guys should have read them over by now. And with that being said, I'm not going to sit up here and tell my people every video to have have this, that. Y'all know what it is. Have your Bible out, open up a book, y'all can pause it. And I shouldn't have to say that, but I do want to address it. I don't want to keep saying stuff like that, and as if I have to give my own people fair use. That's just stupid. Um, so I encourage everybody to stop saying it. Just that simple. We're getting too close to um, the proverbial crap hitting the fan. That great and terrible day, as it were, to keep having to go over that type of information. In any case, but yes, a lawyer. Some believe that Theophilus could have been Paul's lawyer during the trial. I believe that too. It fits the description. To support this claim, people appeal to the formal legalese present in the prologue to the gospel, such as eyewitness account, carefully investigated, know the certainty of things which you have been instructed. The conclusion of the books of Acts ends with Paul still alive and under arrest awaiting trial, suggesting it was in the intention of the author to update Theophilus on Paul's history to provide an explanation of his travels and preachings and serve as evidence in support of his innocence under Roman law. Some also point to the parallel between the account of Jesus' trial before Pontius Pilate, narrated in Luke, accounts with gospel with the accounts of Paul's trial for the Roman judges in the book of Acts. Right, this guy, this is what I mean when I say that Paul even hijacked his own God that he was promoting. The guy's a nutcase, basically. This Josephus guy, this Paul, but he ain't the only one. But yeah, okay, Jewish priest. The growing belief points to Theophilus ben Ananias, high priest of the Temple of Jerusalem from 37 through 41. In this tradition, Theophilus would have been both a Cohen, right, and a Sadducee. Now, this is really important. Okay, because when I was trying to do my research on this guy Philo, they said that they didn't know what his parents' name is, this, that, and the other. But we see here that when we look up the word Cohen, Jediah or Jedediah Cohen, um, we get this word here, Cohen, right? It's the same word, okay? It's the exact same word. One's modified, okay? So here it is. This guy here, Philo, once again, he's really fitting the picture for this, right? Obviously, he was a Sadducee. That much, I mean, come on, man. Um, you don't become a Hellenistic Jew without being a Sadducee. You can be in Rome, a Sadducee, right? Okay, that would make him the son of Ananias, brother-in-law of Caiaphas, right to the Jewish temple. Now, yes, is he this Theophilus? Maybe, maybe. You know, y'all got to do some research. Give me some tidbits. Hit me back up. Leave something in the comments. See if there's something that we can connect there. I did not take the time. I'm just being honest to look at this. I'm on another path with this. So please, by all means, if you come across something here with this guy, let me know. I'll do some more research on it. But basically, to and don't get me wrong, I might go down that road later. So, um, adherents claim that the Luke's gospel was targeted to Sadducee readers. Okay, which would pretty much make sense, right? This explains a few features of Luke. He begins the story with the account of Zacharias, the righteous priest, who had temple vision of an angel. Luke quickly moved the account to Mary's purification. Yeah, okay. Luke also seems to stress Jesus' argument with the Sadducees on the points like legal grounds for divorce, the existence of angel spirits, and the afterlife. Sadducees do not believe in the resurrection of the dead. It is this, in this case, Luke is trying to use Jesus' rebuttals and teaches to break down Theophilus' Sardian philosophies. Now, notice this is not to break down Theophilus philosophy. This is to break down Theophilus' Sadducean philosophy, meaning um, the book of Luke was meant to take and be presented to other Jews and at the gospel. Okay. Um, Now, why is that important? Well, who's in charge of the who's this who is this guy? What does he do? What does he try to do? Philo used philosophical allegory to attempt to fuse and harmonize Greek philosophy and Jewish philosophy. I mean, I'm 5 seconds away from thinking, oh, don't take my clothes in. I'm 5 seconds away from thinking that I closed the tab by accident. My bad. While I'm looking this up, I'll go back up here. I'm 5 seconds away from thinking that maybe this Theophilus, I don't know, maybe he is Luke. You know, you got so many hijacks out here that I don't know, tell you, you got so many of them. You know, and when we I think it was one of the works, I think it was the works of Josephus, if I ain't mistaken. Um, where's like arguing with himself. Um, maybe I'm tripping. Maybe I'm tripping. Maybe I'm tripping. Where is this? Yeah, there's a lot of these dudes around this time too. So I think it's like this ambiguous, right? Is that where he was? Oh man, I gotta go back there. I'm sorry, y'all. My apologies. What was it? What was it? What was it? No, no. Hold on, y'all. All right, sorry about that. Thank y'all for bearing with me on that. I had to refine the page. It took me a second. All right. Anyone is wasting more time going through looking for it, y'all. In any case, alrighty. Let's see here. Yes, Theophilus is Sadducean philosophy. Maybe with the hope that Theophilus would use his influence to do what? To get the Sadducees to do what? To cease their persecution of the Christians, right? So basically, it's with this, it's in the hope, right, that this new sect of Hellenistic Jews or Roman Jews or um, non-real Hebrews, these hijacks, um, you know, to stop persecuting. And because it appears that the persecution of these Christians is, as we know historically, is at least biblically, the persecution of the Christians is coming from who? It's coming from Sadducees and Pharisees, right? Okay, the Essenes, right? They're not trying to have none of this hijack going down. Okay, all right, or at least that's how the story goes. So, but we also know when we were listening to or reading the accounts to Caligula. Sorry about that, y'all. The accounts to Caligula um, about the treatment of the Jews versus the inhabitants the inhabitants of Alexandria, which is kind of similar to what we see now. You know, again, it's repeat type stuff. Let's see here. What else? Yeah, here we go. Some juicy stuff. Okay. Now, Titus Flavius Sabinus. Now, here we go. Another tradition claims, another tradition claims the person that was converted was a converted Roman official, possibly Titus Flavius Sabinus, the former prefect of Rome and older brother of future Roman Empire Emperor Vespasian. Which is kind of funny because we know who Titus is. He has his own name in the Bible, Emperor Titus, right? We covered this, which is kind of ironic that they think that that this could be him. And I'm not saying that it's not. I'm not saying it's not. I'm just from what I've seen so far. Um, I understand where they made that stretch. I just don't think that's where the rabbit hole goes. I could be wrong. If you guys feel like this Theophilus is Titus Flavius, let me know what y'all think and show me y'all connections. The 1 plus 1 equals 2. But again, we know that this dude here is definitely a friend of Josephus, friend of Paul, right? Um, and they make a good argument. You know, one of the reasons because of the honorifics, this, that, and the other. But let's see here. What did I want? But this Theophilus, right? As a matter of fact, let me put him back where he was. Okay. Apparently this Theophilus, right? He comes up again. I think it's Luke as well. As far as this guy's name, right? It only happens a few times when we look at this type of stuff here. Now, this is this link here is the Gospel of Luke. You know, so I'm trying to get some understanding. Like I said before, in a lot of ways, I'm almost under the impression that this may actually have been written either for or by this Philo. I'm not certain either way, but I'm getting this feel that that's the either this Theophilus or it's Luke kind of writing to himself in third person, like a schizophrenic, but so is Josephus, you know. it would be like, Ice Cube making a song about O'Shea. You see what I'm saying? Well, you are O'Shea. All right. I brought this up here because under here it's the you get the Marcion controversy, right? Marcion was a second century heretic, right? Who produced his own version of the Christian scriptures based upon Luke's gospel and Paul's gospel, right? All right. This I thought that was really important because we know that Marcion is a major player in the Christian HiJack, in the Catholic or Christian Church. His principles are foundational to how they operate. Right. So this is a good page here. Got some good stuff here. Um, how it breaks down. Um, Here it is, synoptic. You get that word play right. Syncretism, syncretism, and then synoptic. The etymology on this, it could be translated all-seeing eye for the most part. You know, and again, this is where we're trying to go back to this Jew hijack, right? This Septuagint, the G, what does G mean, right? So, one of the things I came across here, the reason why I brought it up, um, it was because of something they call the Q, and that was weird because it was in the Q, and I was like, well, Brother Lex, that he always talking about these letters having meaning, right? And please, y'all, go to this page and any drops that y'all find, can break down, help us out with our studies. Y'all do that, right? Where was it though? It's how they break down the meaning of the Bible here, of these books. You have there it is, the Q source, right? Weird stuff is this. Okay, so let's go back. Where was I? All right. Yeah. Here we go. So in any case, the eclipse of the traditional attribution to Luke, the companion of Paul, has meant, I mean, yeah, he's a companion. It's his road dog. Has meant that an early date for the gospel is now rarely put forward. Oh, okay, I know what I was doing. Okay, so this is what they're describing here as far as Luke was concerned. He was an educated man. He was a man of means, probably urban, and someone who respected manual work, although not a worker himself. And this is significant because more highbrow writers of the time looked down on the artisans and small business type who made up the early church of Paul and were presumably Luke's audience. Now, this sounds, if this Luke happens to be Philo, and we're talking about a time period in which the Hebrews are getting massacred, they're getting slaughtered, they're getting put in the ghettos, they're getting enslaved. We're talking about the Roman captivity. This house Negro would understand the work necessary while in respecting the work necessary without having to in the works needed of the slave people, right? Because why he's in the Roman hierarchy of things. This guy got a lot of skin in the game, right? So that's not surprising. What they say, walk a mile in another person's shoes. So in any case, the eclipse of the traditional attribution to Luke, the companion of Paul. So at one point, it was speculated that Luke was the companion of Paul, right? The companion of Paul has meant that an early date for the gospel is now rarely put forward. Most experts date the composition of the combined work to be around 80 to 90 AD, right? Although some suggest 90 to 110. Yeah, and there's evidence, both textually, the conflict between the Western Alexandrian manuscript families, and from the marking out controversy. Again, he's a heretic who produced his own version of the Jewish scriptures. And again, we're talking about and we also know that Luke's Acts is still being substantially revised well into the 2nd century, right? But at the earliest that they had it stated was around 70 AD, I think it was. Did we miss that? Let me go back. Where did it go? There's these letters. We'll wait into that in just a second. I just want to make sure I'm not tripping. About where did it go? I thought I saw it. Yeah. Yeah, maybe I am tripping. But they, because of the traditional attributions of Luke, they block. They say that because that's everyone stopped looking to see if the gospel could have been written earlier, and we know Philo was born earlier than that. So, my apologies, y'all. I'm trying to do the best I can, and I'm already coming up on an hour. Time is on my side. Take on a whole different meaning, don't it? Let's see here. Okay, so excuse me. Understanding who this Theophilus guy is. You know, it how does it go? If it doesn't fit, you must quit. So I don't know. It's this whole Luke and the history of this Theophilus guy sounds very similar. Now, let's see here. That's Theophilus. This is Luke, the Bible here. Okay. Now, so what I started doing here is I started going through these names, Theophilus names, and we're gonna come back to that. Now, again, understanding this point here, I don't know if y'all can hear it okay, so I'm trying to do my best, so work with me here.
Uplifting accounts and so forth. This is very, very important because the results that we're talking about are, in some cases, are going to look and seem so preposterous to you that you will be very tempted to just turn your mind off or turn your back to the whole thing. And what Ellen and I are above all trying to do is not make you throw out the data. You may discard Flamenco's interpretation of the data. You may discard the interpretations that we have of the data, but you shouldn't throw out the data. In my opinion, the data is incontrovertible. You see on the
all right, the data is incontrovertible, right? Okay. So I hope y'all heard that. Okay. Like I said, I'm trying to do better, trying to be more solid with my presentations here. Alrighty. So again, this is all under Theophilus Biblical, but now with the change in the timelines here, I started looking up, who the other Theophilus in relation to what Alexandria. Where's Philo from? He's from Alexandria. When did the Pope reign? In where is it? Here we go. He was the 23rd Pope of Alexandria, the patriarch of the See of Saint Mark, right? Luke borrows heavily from Mark, right? But when you read this here about this Pope, all right, he became Pope at the time of the conflict between the newly dominant Christians and the pagan establishment in Alexandria, right? What Gumdi verses? Let's pull that up. Man, you don't know what Gumdi verses is by now. Nobody can help Everybody knows about dumb diverses, and the funny part about it is no one believes that we still are under the influence, despite the history of knowing what the hell this is all about. Okay, let's pull it up. Pull it up. Where is it at? Oh, Brother Luck William did this so many times, man. Here it is, right? We what? Come on now. It's geographically unlimited. I didn't mean to do that. We grant you, kings of Spain and Portugal, by these present documents, with our apostolic authority, full and free permission to invade, search out, capture, and subjugate the Saracens and pagans, right? And any other unbeliever and enemies of Christ. What was going on with this Pope? Hmm? Who was this guy? And remember, we got a blending of the timeline. Y'all don't think y'all think I might be pulling out too far? Not really. Not really. This guy's papacy was in what? 384. We noticed that there was a repeat in the timeline. But his whole job was to destroy this stuff. And this guy was wicked. This is like the bad, like the dark side of this Theophilus. That, not to say that, the other ones were nice, you know, not putting no one in a barrel and rolling them down the hill or anything, but this dude here, he was vicious. I mean, like really vicious, you know. And it kind of goes to the point that if these two people, this Philo and this Theophilus, especially if he was the Pope of Saint Mark, the See of Saint Mark, yeah, Patriarch of the See of Saint Mark, yeah, talking about a pretty wicked dude in a lot of different ways. But it's like he this the idea. Again, it's like these guys have. You have your my name as an actor. Then you have your real name, and then you have the recurring role of a character you play. Uh, you know, Everyone know who Frasier is. But we also know he's Kelsey Grammer. You know what I'm saying? Stuff like that. Um, so just one of them type of weird things. Now, what they call him at home, I don't know, but that type of still stuff is going on. And here, basically, this dude he discovered a hidden pagan temple. Now, at this point in 3199, we can only assume pagan means Hebrew, I guess, because if you remember when we were talking about Philo, Caligula, wanted to short a temple. But when we compare Caligula to Nero, the parallel timelines, they're almost a match. And how he wanted to, tear down the temple and this, that, and the other. But when you start reading about the Caligula, especially if you read the works of Philo, you realize that Caligula's, basically tried to move the Roman Empire, the capital, out of Rome back to Alexandria. So that plays a big part. But in any case, let's see. He and his followers mockingly displayed the pagan artifacts to the public which offended the pagans enough to provoke an attack on the Christians. Right now, isn't that what happened? I didn't think about that until just now, but we know that when Rome conquers, they put arches up, and I think it is in the arch. Let me see if I can pull it up. Come on, Google. You're listening to me, so might as well show me some love. Show me some love. All right, Google. Let's see here. Arch of Rome. Roman Arch. Arch of Rome. The Arch of Rome. Let's look at some images. And if you notice that the Arch of Rome has the I want a close up. Let's get a close up. The Arch of Rome show them doing what? Can I get this any bigger? Is this the right one? hope I can get this bigger for y'all. This is the Arch of Constantine. Come on now. I wanted to show you where they show you the relief of of them sacking taking the spoils of they're taking the spoils of the temple back to Rome, and they put these arches everywhere. Oh man. Let's see here. That's a good one. Get a good relief on it. Yeah, these dudes love putting up arches everywhere. And showing you the spoils of what they got from these cities, right? Oh man. All right, just to keep it moving on. But just know, if you guys look this up and find the imagery, y'all see it, make sure post it up, shoot me a link, something. I know I'm not going crazy. I know I'm just trying to find the right one. There's so many of them. What happens when you conquer the world, I guess. Get to put your shit everywhere and make everybody love it, whether you like it or not. All right, but yeah, this is the Roman arches, and they pretty much build these arches with, to display or show their victory. And on one of these reliefs, you can see the arch. There it is. Found it. All you gotta do is do what? Look for this. Look for Titus. Huh? Isn't that the candlestick right there? After they destroyed attacked the temple, right? Okay, so where were we? Right, dumb diverses, and go back to this Pope dude, right? Vicious dude, vicious. All right, so right, so now all of a sudden, because you pissed off the pagans, they go attack the Christians. The Christians counterattack, forcing pagans to retreat to the Serapeum, right? A letter was sent by the emperor that Theophilus would grant the offending pagans pardon, but destroy the temple, right? According to Socrates Scholasticus, a contemporary of his, a later aspect, the destruction of the temple, was added as a result of heavy solicitation for it by Theophilus, right? Socrates basically states that seizing this opportunity, Theophilus exerted himself to the utmost. He caused the Mithraim, that's a church, to be cleaned out. If you don't know Mithraism, museum or hall, Mithraim to be cleaned out. Then he destroyed the Serapeum and had the Phali, obelisk, right, of Paprius carried through the midst of the forum. The heathen temples were therefore razed to the ground, and the images of their gods molten into pots and other convenient utensils for the use of the Alexandrian church. Right? The ecclesiastical record history, right? Ecclesiastes, right? That's an Old Testament written by the preacher, right? Or the pastor, just saying. But you get this destruction, which is kind of interesting. Very similar stories being told, right? Right. But this is the part I want to bring up, right? On July 10th, in the Eastern or Greek Orthodox, I can't pronounce that word, there is a commemoration for the 10,000 monks slain on the orders of Pope Theophilus in his paranoid campaign against the perceived Origenism And there is a link there. In the Four Tall Brethren. That's something I'm pretty sure I'm going to have to figure out later on. There's no link for it. His nephew and his dynastic successor, Cyril, was canonized in both Eastern and Western Christendom, with the notable exception of what? The Assyrian Church of the East, for his articulation and defense of the hypostatic union, for his role at the First Council of Ephesus, not Nicaea, but Ephesus, and his opposition to the Patriarch Nestorius of Constantinople. Remember, we were talking about the Nestorian with Prester John, right? So, let's see here. Let's open that up. Right, the Nestorian, Prester John, he's a Nestorian Christian, right? Well, who in the heck is what's a Nestorian? Well, the follower of this Nestorius belief. Now, you guys look this up, but basically, Nestorius, around this time, was an Archbishop of Constantinople, now Istanbul. We want to get down to the meat of it. Now, his teachings included a rejection of the long-used title Theotokos, Mother of God, for Mary, Mother of Jesus, and they were considered by many to imply that he did not believe that Christ was truly God. This is what they mean when they say a Nestorian, a Nestorian, a Nestor Christian, right? It's not that a Nestorian, he doesn't throw the babies out with the bathwater, but he's not going to bow down to the bull crap and the HiJack. And you read about this dude, and the Cyril, who was the son of Theophilus, right? He set him up. He set him up for the most part, because there was a prevailing argument between this whole Christian thing of him, was he born a God? And if he is God, then how can he be? He wasn't become God until at the cross. And this argument is really kind of confusing. And when you read it, goes back to it really goes back to the whole Luke thing, Luke and Acts, where I think it's in Luke he expresses how he was already God when he was born, but it was written by the same author, and he kind of contradicts himself because he's saying that he became God upon the resurrection. Okay, so you had these two different schools of thought, and this is where they're talking about this hypostatic union, right? And so Nestorius goes in and he tries to have a balanced thought, or a balanced approach, and they labeled him a heretic. Cyril went ahead and set him up, already had everything squared away. So by the time he came in and everybody else was on time, very similar to the story of who Jesus, when they accused him in the court, and he had to go to Pontius Pilate. Pontius Pilate sent him back, but they did this at night or in the cover of night or something along those lines, and not all of the not all the Sadducees and Pharisees were available, just enough to cast a vote, right? I'm sorry if I'm going from memory. I just don't feel like I'm pull out every little detail, but if I'm wrong on something, please, by all means, point it out. Again, this is who this Nestor guy is. This Nestorius. So this is where you get the whole idea and thought. Now, when someone says he's a Nestorian Christian, a Nestorian, it says the church of the East or the Assyrian church. These are the same thing. Is the Nestorian church. Okay, so I know we're dealing with a lot of the Assyrians, right? Okay, they also consider the Church of the East Nestorian church Christians to Persia. I'm sorry. the relocation of many Nestorian Christians to Persia. So these the Nestorian Christians left. So here it is. I just want you guys kind of funny how we keep coming into this whole little tidbits and drops, all relating to this Press John dude. Okay. Where was I? Alright, now under this one here, which one was it? Yeah, that's what it was. So let me go back. So we covered the Nestor thing. I think we're good there. This is again, you can look this up on Wikipedia under Nestorius, where we get the whole understanding of what it means to be a Nestor Christian. Right? If you let's see here. So just to be on the safe side, make sure we got all of our ducks lined up in a row. Nestor, the name of an old king renowned for wise counsel, right? The Nestorian in church history. When? Mid 15th century. In the 1400s? A follower of Nestorius, Latinized form of Nestor. So we go back to here. Name of an old king renowned for wise counsel. Right? I have a question. And this is what I'm talking about. We're talking about the timeline. In church history, what year is that? A follower of Nestorius. Huh? And this don't even match up with this here. Mid 15th century? Am I C comes after, so it's not the common error. Right, that's 15th century, right? Okay. Okay, maybe I'm tripping. Never mind. Alright, but yeah, here it is, mid 1500. Let's go back. Nestor. How do we jump 1,000 years? Am I seeing that wrong? or what? 15, okay. Nestor. Dude is like 100 years off. Huh. Interesting. And that's something that just caught my attention. Just going back to make sure we understood what a Nestor was. And again, one who blesses, blessed. Okay. All right. Where were we? Nestorian. Caught that. Oh, okay. So let me go through. So we understand that whole Nestorian thing, right? Sorry about that. All right. So we got the whole Nestorian thing. Some diversity. Y'all should know that by now. All right. I was looking up some other stuff with this stuff here. King drop. Digging the hurts, man. Digging the 432. I was listening to this. Just want to show some love. I was into the music. You know, trying to relax. It's kind of cool stuff, man. It helps. Just want to show some love there. That yup, I do check you out, bro. All right, fair enough. We're Nestor. There we go. So we're done with the Nestorian thing. So you guys can check out this Theophilus, right? The Pope of Alexandria. Wicked dude, very wicked dude. Okay. Continue to check this dude out. Even got a lunar crater, that moon named after him, right? Might be dealing with different people. Might be dealing with the same person. Which brings me up to we got this one taken care of, Theophilus. We understand that different views, right? Okay, and make sure and so y'all don't get lost like I did. When y'all are looking for this in the wiki, you have to put in parentheses here in the brackets, biblical, okay, or it's not gonna come up. It's gonna redirect you to everything but this page right here. So remember, Theophilus, biblical, okay. All right, now we're gonna get into the next step. Let's see here. We covered the unit already, so I can close that out. We are dealing with this here. We're dealing with the name Philip. We're dealing with the name Theophilus or Theophilus. Yeah, I'm sorry, couldn't help myself. We're dealing with the timelines. Now remember, this on the right represents. Let me make sure I'm hearing this correct.
Right hand side, this is the Roman Empire from 82 BC to the 3rd century AD.
Okay, 82 BC to the 3rd century on the right. And then you have from the 3rd century to the 6th century on the left. And I wanted to make mention, man, don't that look like DNA? Just trying to show y'all some frequency. But don't that look like DNA? A little bit. You know what else I'm also reminded of when I see this? I'm almost reminded of man, what's it called? Let me go to, I want Google. I want the real Google page, not just that one. Don't that look familiar? Don't that look familiar? You let's see a good one here. Am I tripping? Let's look. Don't that look familiar? Right? Let's go back. Am I tripping? Huh. I mean, if I'm tripping, I'm tripping, y'all. Just please tell me, y'all. If maybe I'm tired, I can be tripping. I mean, even with the outline of the body, right? And it lines up with the different points. Y'all see that? Oh wow! I'm amazing myself right now. You see this? So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I'm guessing this is 6 way here at the bottom. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Wow. Okay, I'm mind blown by that. I might. Did I miss my dismount? I might have messed up my dismount. Wow, I wasn't even trying to go there. All right, let's stay focused. Um, Man, I'm gonna have to go back on that one. Where was I? Okay, yeah, we were looking at the. I was looking at the this guy. We looked over the arch. We're good there. I might have closed out the tab. So I hope I didn't get lost and closing out too many tabs here. And you guys have to forgive me with my cheap stuff. Trying to do the best I can. Trying to do the best I can. All right, so we got Philo. Now we hit up on how this Philo is Philip, right? Mentioned in the Bible. Showed you guys the connection to my man Philo here and Theophilus. Not just in its name, but But one also should take y'all to the next step. Okay. And the next step in this Philo chase is the other variation of the name, which is Philemon. Right? Masculine proper name in Greek mythology, a pious man. Remember I told you at the beginning of the video, pious is gonna keep popping up, right? And husband to Bacchus from the Greek Philemon, literally loving, affectionate, from Philine to love, see, Philo, which takes us back to Philo. Okay. Philo. Right? So this is the Greek variation. Okay. Now, where were we here? So we know, amazingly enough, that what is the very next book after Titus? You know that book there for the emperor, right? You got it. Philemon. Okay. That is the name. So got me down that journey about this whole Philemon thing, right? So I think I know this one here. So when I look this up, we got what? He's a saint. Saint Philemon. Right? Philemon was an early Christian in Asia Minor who was the recipient of the private letter from Paul of Tarsus. This letter is known as the Epistle of Philemon in the New Testament. He is known as a saint by several Christian churches, along with his wife Aphia. Yeah, I think it's Aphia. All right. Philemon was a wealthy Christian. HiJack. Okay. But who else was wealthy? Wealthy. Okay. And a minister, possibly a bishop, to the house church that met in his home. Okay. Minister. Yeah. Yeah. Hellenistic Jewish philosopher. That's his job. Ministering. He's good at it. And philosophizing. You don't believe me, you can look at this man's work. I mean, this is what he does, right? All right. Okay. Where are we at now? Let's see. The Mania of 22 November peak speaks of Philemon as a holy apostle. Okay. Who in the company of Aphia, of Crippus, and Onesimus or Onesimus. I don't know how to pronounce it. I know I'm totally Americanizing a Latinized Greek out name, right? Has been martyred at Colossus or Colossae during the first generation of the persecution in the reign of Nero. Persecution in the reign of Nero sounds just like Caligula. Okay, remember parallel timeline. I'm almost thinking, and I'm gonna have to really just sit down and go through it to break this down. These comparable emperors and what was going down. Um, but Caligula and Nero sound very similar. Very similar indeed. Okay. Now, here's what I highlighted, right? In the list of the 70 apostles, the Septuagint, it was written by 70 Hebrews, right? There were 70 Jews that didn't know a lick of Hebrew, and knew a lot of Koine Greek. But, okay. God Philemon, he's listed, 70 apostles, attributed to Dorotheus of Tyre. Philemon is described as a what? Bishop of where? Gaza. Alexandria. Gaza, right? Gaza Strip. Ain't that Gaza? Isn't that Gaza in Israel? Hmm. Okay. Let me see something here. In the good old land of Egypt, right next door, right? Where are we? There's Alexandria. Okay. Gaza's over here, right? Where's the Sphinx? Is the Sphinx in Gaza? And that's a different Gaza? I'm tripping. I'm sorry, y'all. I just had I'm trying to remember what the name was. Giza. Giza. Not Gaza. But we supposed to vowels don't have the same name. Now Giza is right in Alexandria. They're talking at Gaza. So just wondering about the etymology on that one. I teaching me to be briefly, and the others just pointed out. kick out the vowels and see what you come up with. Well, when I kick out the vowels, I only get a G and a Z. You know, so could we be talking about the same place? Don't know, but we got Gaza, we got Giza, right? Oh, Jesus versus Gaza. They weren't even looking at that. And with no vowels, you got what? GZ. Let's check this out. All right. Sorry, we're taking a little detour. Just wasn't expecting this. See what's here. Just taking a quick look. See. I'm sorry. I had something that caught my attention was Alexander the Great versus Ivan the Terrible. So I thought that was funny. Um. So yeah, check that out. See if there's anything there. Just thought it was funny. In fact, that's my work life, right? We're doing the whole no vowels things now. What did that say? Urban Dictionary came up first. Okay. Meaning, wow, hey, I made it. Okay. First extension for G-zip files. Wow. A zip file. It's short for a zip file? Didn't know that. Huh. I learn something new every day, right? Although that comparison to Giza Gaza, I would love for you, anybody to look that up and drop me a drop. You know what I'm saying? That would be kind of cool. I'm sorry, I'm getting off track here. Let me go back. Let's stay focused. We were talking about the saint, right? And he was the bishop of Gaza. Now, we already know Philo is in Alexandria, so it makes sense that Philemon, would be bishop of Gaza. Okay, but we also, like I said, this Philemon is the same name as Philo or Philip, and it's just so miraculously funny how the his book follows his epistle follows the emperor Titus. Okay, so something that again, it's timelines aside, and he died in 68. When did he die? I don't even know, but they say he died around 50. So very close in timeline too. Yeah, you about the same age and everything, right? Okay. So we covered this. Was there something else in here that I wanted to do a quick look see here? Thought it was something else about Philemon, but maybe not. I saw it earlier. Not just Theophilus in this. All right. Let's give myself more time and make this dismount so we're down here. Let's see here. This is brother. This drops radio. Now, feel. Yep, we dumped that one there. That cracks me up. I'm gonna look at that in about 2 seconds. There. Things in the mind. We done there. Now, this here. This is what I wanted to do. Okay, so when I was looking this up earlier, this is gonna be my dismount for y'all. I already gave y'all a review a little bit, but bear with me. So here we have Philo of Alexandria, right? Now his name in Hebrew is Jedediah or Jedediah Cohen, right? And the reason why I was playing around with the vowels because I know I was getting to this point, so let's cover it. Now, they state here that they're not sure of this dude's of this dude's family, right? He was probably born the name Julius Philo, right? But up here they state that his name is Jedediah Hakohen, right? Now, which is weird because it was either his father or paternal grandfather who was granted Roman citizenship, right? He had two brothers, okay? Now, they don't know his family name, his ancestors. Boom. There it is. Remember, I was looking for it earlier. Philo visited the temple at least once in his lifetime. Told y'all it was there. I'm not tripping. All right. So they like questioning, right, like his family name, but it states right here, in Hebrew, is Jedediah Cohen, right? So what I did was I didn't know what this name means, Jedediah. I'm like, is this like a typo of Jeremiah? No, not at all. This dude here, right there. Which one was it? I think it might have been good old fashioned Google. Jedediah. And here it is, we back to this old Jedi thing, right? Jedediah. Jedediah. I think this is the one. Is that the one? When you look this up, Jedediah means yeah, there it is. Solomon. The name Jedediah in Hebrew is a Hebrew baby name. In Hebrew, the meaning of the name Jedediah is beloved of the Lord, friend of the Lord, right? Right. Beloved of Jehovah. HiJack. Hey. Okay. In the Bible, the blessing name Jedediah was given to who? King Solomon in his infancy. Right? What's this dude's name? Jedediah. His name is Solomon. Right? Really weird stuff. You can't make this stuff up. Okay? Now, there was something else about this too. What was it? Beloved friend of the Lord. So, we also know that that's what it was. Let's pull this back up here. And when we say Theophilus means, Theophilus means what? The lover of friend of God, or beloved of God, right? So one more time. Let's do this again. Jedediah means beloved of God. So this dude's name is beloved of God, beloved of God. This is what they called him at home. Jedediah, beloved of God. Theophilus, beloved of God. This guy is Theophilus, yo. From what I can tell so far, for the most part, hell, this guy might be even Luke. For the most part, you know, going back to what did we see just a few seconds ago? That Socrates Scholasticus wrote what the ecclesiastical histories, and when we look in the Bible, Ecclesiastes means preacher, Prester John. We assume that the son of David is, you know, solid. When we read Ecclesiastes, we assume it says son of David, that talking about Solomon. You know, um, this dude kind of fits cracks that bill, right? I'm just saying, but yet we don't know. They say that when you do the history on it, they're not sure who this dude dad is. But we do know one thing. We do know that he is the uncle, right, of Bernice, and we know what that broad did with her crazy self. So, um, yeah, they don't know his family name, but this dude's name is Solomon. Then this up, right, and this is what y'all keep seeing when I keep flashing through. Did what I was told to do, removed all the vowels because I was looking. If y'all can look, I promise you, when you look up just Hakohen, it's an honorific, meaning rabbi, master, or something along those lines. So that's why I might understand it. It's an honorific, but the history of it, as it comes down through the timeline, it gets converted into um, Cohen and stuff like that. So when I kicked out all the vowels and hit the meaning for it, this is what I came up with. Did you mean, now this is Google asked me, did you mean Khan? I mean Han? The meaning of Chan? The meaning of Chin? Or the meaning of Chan? And I thought that was very enlightening, right? This term here, this name, you kick out the vowels, you're asking me if I'm asking about Khan, Han, Chan. So that brings us back, but that makes sense when we talk about this what was it? The Nestorian being part of the Assyrian. We just read 2 seconds ago. The Assyrian Church of the East. Again, I don't know. You guys tell me. Y'all tell me what y'all think, and then hopefully I'll be, I hope this was able to help some of y'all out. But yeah, this right here, pretty good stuff here. And this is just written right on the wiki page. We just got to do a little homework. Okay. But, man, let's look at that again. Well, I got a few more minutes because this right here is mind blowing. Right. So, yeah, Mr. Philo of Alexandria. Legend of Precious Shrine started in the first century. I remember right. Old school legend, right? Way back. It was the story kind of kicked back up again in Europe, Spain, in the search of this mythical Ethiopian. We read the story of this guy here. He, the different variations of this dude's name. No matter with throwing out all the timeline stuff, when we hear the story of let's attack the Philo of Alexandria, when we go through and see that Philo means Philip, when we look at where's Philip in the Bible, in the conversation and how that Philip is having conversations with Enoch. But when we look at this Philip, is also Philemon. When we see that Philemon in the books in the Bible here is relating to this dude, we realize that this guy here, we find the name Theophilus that's included in these books. Again, this is a very similar pattern to what we have here going on with Josephus. Well, again, two peas. It seems like if we're going by strictly by the time that Philo, is the precursor to Josephus or his mentor. So, but he's hidden. he's hidden. I promise you. If it wasn't for this whole Prester John thing, I would have never known who the hell Philo of Alexandria is. Um, you know, in this whole entire HiJack dealing with this dude. So, I don't know, man. You guys tell me there's too much of the Prester John connection. There's too much of the chant, you know, Syrian HiJack. This guy is name is Solomon. You know, the name of Solomon when he was a baby. His name is, this dude's name is the same. He just keeps changing it over and over. In so many different ways, and keeps pointing back, and keeps pointing back, and keeps pointing back. But I'm gonna go ahead and just look at that image one more time here, y'all. Let's do that one more time. I mean, I am. Oh, come on. You're not looking at great. Why does he keep taking me here? We're having on my page. Oh, let's go here. I don't like that. I don't like that. Like I say, I know I was spelling it correctly. I'm going crazy. That's crazy. Now this is crazy, y'all. This here is crazy. The way that this fits, the way that this squeezes together. What do I have up here? That one there, right? Look at that there. Look at that there. And then we're going to go side screen it for me. All right. And then we're going to take out my boy Parallel. Move him out real quick. All right. Let's do it. Let's do it. I'm going to do the side by side. Am I tripping, y'all? Am I tripping? Or am I just seeing like images in the cloud? Y'all tell me. Right? Y'all tell me. Well, that's my dismount. I think I'm going to leave y'all with that right there. I don't know if I'm going to make another one, follow up on this one as far as this Philo guy. There's a couple more points off my head, but I don't need to kill it like that. You know, if you guys want to play around with the breakup of Philo, because we know that Philo, Philo, also comes hyphenated. Then what does Mon mean? Well, Mon was kind of a hard search, but Mon can mean my. So Philemon would be my friend or my love or something like that. Mon can also mean man, but Mon can also mean good in the Egyptian. And then there's a different variation of that word, which Mon can mean mount. Um, and that was the last bit of my notes here on the study because I was trying to wrap around Philemon to somewhere here in America dealing with the mountains and stuff, and see if that played a factor on this side. But I didn't get that far in research. Maybe it's out there, maybe it's not. But hey, man, this is as good as it gets. So I hope you guys enjoy this dealing with this Philo guy. So wow, parallel timelines, right? Look like the DNA, don't it? So chew on that. I just want y'all to know. Thank you for checking me out. Love y'all. Stay blessed. Be blessed. Bless others. And I'll bring it back in one more time next time. Later, y'all.